Uh, what's the name of that song? Old Town Road. How the fuck? Lil Nas X. Like he just took three things. He just did Lil like Lil Wayne, Nas like the iconic rapper, and then X like Malcolm X. That's how he did it. That's all
Illmatic.
it is. He's the two songs by I was just looking at the United States top 50. The two songs that are on the United States top 50 are Old Town Road remix, which
Shouldn't there be
I
50 songs on the top 50?
oh, there's 50 songs on the top
Oh,
50,
okay,
but I'm
okay.
just saying the two top songs on it
Two of
are
two of the 50.
two of the not even two of number one and number two are Old Town Road remix and Old Town Road. And the remix apparently doesn't have any swearing in it because it doesn't say explicit on it. So I
But
guess if Billy Ray signed on
that's
to do the
like
remix, which I've never heard of a country artist doing a remix in my entire life.
that's like old school remix action where like the remix of PIMP was edited, but it had Snoop Dogg on it and
Yeah,
Snoop,
apparently Billy Ray's getting in the remix game. Anyway, let's fucking
who
start
else
this
was
damn
on it?
thing. This is, for once and for all, the Jacket Off podcast.
Heavens to
Episode
hold.
fucking, I don't know what episode it is. Do you
So
know?
bandwidth does us part.
Till bandwidth does something to
Give me a
destroy
second.
this possibly 2-hour podcast.
Usually we do this beforehand, but live on air, I'm gonna figure out what episode it is. 49.
Episode number 49. We are just shy of the 50 mark. It
We
is
should be
April
on episode
14th.
100.
We should be on episode 100. But I will say this, Dylan. As I was thinking about this episode, I was wondering to myself, how many years
Is
have
it
we been
worth it?
doing Jacket Off? Is it all worth it? Well, whether it's worth it or not, we've been doing Jacket Off for 2 years since February. The first episode of the podcast was on February 20th, I think.
19th. I'm looking right at it.
February 19th.
Yeah.
So since February 19th, we've been sitting here very incongruently talking for a range of an hour and a half to 2 hours or more, 3 hours every time. And I don't think it's gotten any better, but you know
Nope.
what? That's for the
They
fan
say-
to decide.
They say they say it gets better with practice. And I'm still
Look,
just looking at my phone.
I
What's
mean,
up?
really, Dylan, it's 10,000 hours that they say when you get like a pilot's license or any type of training that it takes to get truly masterful at something. And if we've done 49 episodes at a pitch of around 2 per episode, we've spent around 100 hours doing this. So we only need to do this for another 100 years, and we'll probably get it right.
You'd think well, if we did it like
Consistently,
that's a word. Yeah. See, I'd be able to figure out
you would
the
be able to
words
come up with the word consistently,
Yeah,
if we did this consistently,
When-
or at a
when-
greater frequency.
When I never used the word to describe it, then I don't know the word.
As we know, podcasts are about words, so unfortunately, when you're at a loss for
Inconsistent, that's a word to describe.
Words.
Yeah, words.
great bit, Brent. All right, what are you gonna do next? So we're gonna
Bit one
give
down,
you a
all right.
Rochambeau.
Let me
Give
get
him
my
the
notebook out. Let's see what other
give him the
bits we got.
business. You're gonna clap this thing down on the desk, even though it's a notebook and all the pages are bound together. No need to sort those out.
This is like the Slim Jim of podcasts. It's just a bunch of bits.
Ooh, just a bunch of nasty bits strung
Nasty.
together in some sort of tubular form. That's going to give you really bad indigestion afterwards, incidentally.
That's a bit right there.
That's a bit. Get them.
Mark it. Mark the bit.
Now,
Yo, we're going to timestamp these bits.
yeah, you're going to have to put them into the compilation, the best of 2 years of Jack It Off, because you're only going to have 49 episodes to work with. So it's actually only about 50 hours worth of footage. Or
I
just
wouldn't
the
wanna
audio.
comb through all that shit.
Oh yeah, that's a thankless job for somebody who is more akin to like a trash collector or some sort of like
I got nothing but
thrift,
time, but I ain't
like
spending it on that.
yeah, that's low on the list. Trying to find the best of jacket. I mean, I might do it someday. Don't quote me on that.
I won't.
But for today's episode, we're trying to recap and unpack nearly a month of mind-blowing events that have taken place in both of our lives. I'm going to go all the way back, Dylan. Let's go all the way back. Yep.
Where's the scent?
Rewind it.
How are none
like
of my
Zach
synths
Morris.
plugged in?
You have nothing plugged in. It's okay. Don't even worry about it.
It's gonna do live beeping and dooping.
Yep. Put a live beep in there. On March 20th was the last time that we recorded this show. And after March 20th, we, and meaning we, meaning you,
Me?
you, decided that we were going to embark on a New York City adventure. So we did.
To be fair, I saw Paw Patrol the weekend before that, so I did have an event before that.
We all right. So actually, in fairness, let's tempt them a little bit. Let's give them a little bit of a. We could talk about what we did in New York, but before we do that, I think we gotta get off on this exit just for a second. And let's just talk about Paw Patrol for a second. We sure can. Look, what if it's 30 seconds? Give me 30. Quit. Give me 30 seconds of Paw Patrol.
The big.
They have paws and they go on patrol.
They're puppets, which are kind of cool. They're like big old full size puppets that the.
Now, when you say, I'm sorry to even stop you there.
Okay,
I just have so many questions.
Ask the question.
When you say full-size puppet, are we talking about Big Bird, where it's like a person that's like shorter in a thing that's like puppeting a thing, or this below the stage?
No. So they are in it. So basically, they're like riding it.
Okay. Oh,
kind of, but they're not.
Are they like minotaurs?
Yeah, basically. So they're the front. Their feet are the front feet.
Okay.
And then the back feet kind of just move along with it.
All right. I think I get it.
So they're like standing in the front.
Right.
And
you can, as you can already guess, I'm going to Google this.
They puppet the head and the eyes and the mouth and stuff from behind.
Give me them Google images.
Yeah, or you can just look it up.
Okay.
But they are not a character. They are Rubble. They are Chase. They are Marshall. You know what I mean? It's not like there's Marshall and the person. It's you're just suspend the disbelief, and they are the character as a whole.
Right. So what I'm looking at is, now you're gonna have to fit. Okay, this is tough. You're gonna have to fill me in on. So Paw Patrol is about a group of dogs that are rescue patrol dogs.
Basically, yes.
Are there humans in the show?
Yes.
So the humans that correspond to the dogs are the humans that are piloting the dogs in the live show. Okay. So that's
the humans that are piloting the dogs are the dogs.
You have to ignore them.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now
they got the head on that kind of represents the dog, but they are not riding the dogs.
I got
They are the dogs.
Now I can see based on the images that that's pretty easy to do. Now the only thing that I don't get is I get that they would want to dress the person that's piloting the dog like the police officer,
They
the
don't
EMT,
no, they
whatever
don't,
it is.
no, they don't dress them like it. They're just
Well, I
like
can see
wearing
the
a hat.
hat.
That's it.
Well, I would if it were me, or at least if I know a history of like kabuki theater, wouldn't you want them to be in like a black morph suit?
They are.
Like, wouldn't you want...
I know I could tell you for a fact that they are, because the more impressive part about this is that it was a total of 11 people doing the whole show, like all the pieces and parts and stuff.
Well, so are those other people in morph suits? Like, because
Okay.
all these people have faces. I would want it so
Everyone
that they
has a
don't
face.
have anything. No, I think, okay, have you seen those Japanese game shows where they all dress everybody in black morph suits and put a black background up so that you can pretend to do bullet time effects with those people?
Okay, I see what you're
They
saying.
lift, you know what I'm
so
saying?
You're
You
saying
kind of,
like
if
cover
you're...
their face, but
Yeah,
well, it's like a musical type thing, so they have to sing and everything. You can't really sing with a
right. I guess in order,
voice.
like
If they do it in the back, I guess.
I'm thinking about the if you're saying the suspension of disbelief, if they have to sing, then my theory is busted. Then you can't make it so that
They have to
blend
sing
so seamlessly into the background.
And these characters do other things in the show. Like the only two people. So
are they going backstage and popping on different
outfits?
Suits?
There's
Okay,
three
so
people
that makes sense.
I think there's three people that don't change.
Right.
Which is
main three.
The main character, like the one kid, I can't remember his name.
There's like the
human kid.
Right. He's wearing like the red vest with the blue.
Yeah. The mayor, and then the mayor of the evil town with the cats. I think those are the only three that don't change. They have like a specific costume that
and
they
then
stay
the
in
background dogs and shit.
And then the people that play the dogs, like if you pay attention, they're doing other stuff.
Swapping.
Yeah. Like there's like they go
like
underwater.
There's like a dump truck and like an excavator and like police car that they got to get into and shit like that. That's like different. Okay, I'm seeing it. Okay.
And there's like an underwater scene where they got like they're like moving fish across the stage and stuff.
Well, that was 6 minutes of that versus 30 seconds.
Now the hotness, right? You know how there's always
be careful, Dylan.
There's that act one, like that tantalizing act one drop. You know what I'm talking about?
Tantalizing the hotness. Are you sure we're at Paw Patrol?
You know what I'm talking about? You know that act one, like something big happens at the end of act one to set up act two, right? And then the intermission happens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rubble and I can't remember the other one get stuck in the snow.
Oh, shit.
You know what that means.
Everest, the snowblower
Everest has got to come and save him. That's right. You didn't think Everest was in this, but boom, they call her up, and that's the act one drop. And then so act one starts with Everest, and then the one snow boy that hangs out with Everest.
So the failed Broadway actor who gets to play Everest pops in and saves the day.
Well, to be fair, she was doing other stuff earlier in the show. You just didn't realize it.
Like setting up the background scenery and eating all the craft services. Because they were hungry. They're real hungry.
Why are you dunking on...
Not hungry in the good way, baby.
Let's see you sell out a theater, you bozo. You fucking clown. Look at you, you goddamn
what
clown
are you, the
shoes.
New York Post? The New York Post? You're calling me a fucking bozo? Bozo on podcast talks smack about Paw Patrol off-Broadway Theater League production. Look, them people are making more money than I am, maybe. So, you're right.
I only got to split it 11 ways.
They got to pile up all of that money from them Desperate Housewives at the end of the show and distribute it evenly and then pay out craft services for their granola bars and fucking tubs of yogurt.
I was excited for Everest, all right?
overall,
I was like,
I need a
oh,
rating
shit.
on Paw Patrol. I'm gonna need a 1 out of 10 from your perspective
An
on
8.
whether or not that was it was an 8.
I'll give it an 8.
What kind of
I'm
onstage
not gonna
effects did they have, Dylan?
on stage effects.
Did they have anything where it was like, oh,
So they did the confetti shoot at the end of it. That was cool.
good?
Okay, they had a giant LED screen in the background that was kind of like a scenery type thing. Where they set
So
up the
they could like shift
they could
scenery pretty
shift.
quickly
They
and
could
some
move,
animated
like,
stuff.
make it look like they're driving down the road. They do like that
But
kind of
it's like-
stuff. Yeah.
Like the 1975 does for their live show. They have
And
the conveyor belt.
What's another fun one? So in the show they kind of like talk to the pups on a tablet or whatever.
Yeah.
So like a fun thing they did was
Show the messages up on the screen.
No, while he was talking on the tablet, they had like a off the side. It was basically like a giant tablet, and you could see the two pups would be standing next to each other, and the tablet talking to it.
Ah, yes.
So like basically you could see what he was doing. So like that was a cool effect.
Right.
When Sky, she flies, right?
Oh my God. Dude, don't tell me, because we're gonna get to Aladdin next, and we don't want to be.
No, okay, we're not. It's not like that cool, but
The wires come down.
No, it's not like that. So there's one scene where she's got to fly up to the top of a lighthouse, and
Right.
so the actor has like a giant Sky puppet on a stick, and she's like basically like running around the stage.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it was just cool, just like this something, just in like she like had a control for the mouth and everything. It was basically just like on a stick, a big old puppet on a stick. So it was just cool to see him do the puppet thing a different way. Like Sky's gotta fly. How are we gonna make Sky fly? I guess just put her on a stick. So
the moms that are listening to the podcast right now, Dylan, they're like, fuck, I got to bring my kids to that.
They already brought their kids to that.
Yeah.
They run commercials on fucking Nickelodeon all the time. And it's like, I want to go see because there's two of them. There's the race one that we went to, and then there's a pirate one. And I think they're like, the pirate one's on the West Coast and the race one's on the East Coast right now. She's like, I want to go. It's coming to Albany pretty soon, Brent, if you want to.
Oh my God. Well, Dylan, here's what I used to do back in the day. Here's what my live experiences were like. Let's go back to 1997. 1997,
Sesame
an
Street Live.
Unbelievable year. No, I wasn't that lucky.
Oh, I was.
As a little child.
Fucking nerd.
You fucking asshole. You spoiled piece of shit. So, back in 1997, there was a show, and this is going to give it away maybe almost immediately, if not, it might be very few people that remember this. Yeah.
No, wait. Oh, if only a
you
few people.
you might be able to.
Well, no, because I was going to say Disney on Ice.
No,
They
so
still
you got to.
do that.
Yeah. They don't. They still don't do this, and it's because he's dead.
Gallagher.
Hey, young Brent, what would you want to see? I want to see someone smash some fruit. All right, I guess we can go see Gallagher then. He could say a bunch of mildly racist jokes, and we can all laugh to ourselves while he smashes a fucking watermelon into our fat consumer faces. Welcome to the 90s, bitch. Smash a fucking banana and it creams all over your eyes. You hold up your fucking tarp. None of the things that I just said happened at the show that I went to. So just to keep you aware of that.
Who's dead?
So now I'm gonna give you a couple hints here.
Okay.
I'll tell you a few things. So if he's dead, we know that he was really old even when I saw him.
Is it
and you
Mr.
got to remember,
Rogers?
no. you
Honestly,
gotta
they didn't do
remember,
live
what
stuff.
kind of kid do you think I was, Dylan? Because it really speaks to the kind of person I am now. A
Piece of shit.
creative
Oh.
piece of shit. A creative piece of garbage. A creative whiny bitch.
You're like whoever that actor was, dead.
So,
Okay.
uh,
Creative.
so creative.
Pappy.
Think of
Pappy Land. Pappy drew it. He drew Pappy Land.
You got it, baby. So now the
They
kids
did
today
live
have
shows?
what he did was really, Dylan, kind of like Gallagher. He didn't smash tubes of paint on a platform and all the kids got hit with it. Dylan, he was in his fucking 60s when I went and saw him. Here's what he did.
Pappy drew it.
Me?
He drew Pappy Land. And you
Right.
too
You're taking me back.
drew
You're
it.
taking me back.
Well, you're in Pappy Land. Got him.
So, Pappy, as we know, is a Canadian television show that was adapted for American audiences on public access television's PBS stations.
Very similar to Lamb Chop. Wasn't that Canadian?
I believe that was Canadian. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Red Green Show, a very popular comedian named Red Green. Still rocking it today on Canadian television. Very funny. But here's what I want to say about Pappy. Pappy was a gentleman who was a very much a Mr. Rogers character for the creative set of children. What he would do every week is he would do art-based videos like drawing a picture. He would teach you. He was very much Bob Ross mixed with
a kid,
Mr. Rogers. He was a children's Bob Ross.
Yeah.
So what you would do is you would follow along with Pappy to try to draw a picture, and then you would send your picture in to the PBS PO box in Canada. So I did that many, many, many times. Now, here's what I want to tell you about what happened one time. I remember sitting in my Aunt Deb's house in 1997, 1998, 1999. Pappy was on for a few years.
That seems late.
Late 90s? I mean, I was 9, 98, 99.
99
when I was 8
late.
and 9 years old was when I was doing this.
We were ready for the millennium at 99, dude. I don't know if you were...
Well, Pappy, I mean, it was still going on. I think
Was
it was still, yeah. I mean, I can certainly look it up, but I remember pretty specifically
Lamb
that
Chop was Canadian.
I couldn't have been higher than, or I couldn't have been higher. Well, yeah, I couldn't have been higher. So it was the series of some 96 to 99. So it would have been in the middle of that. It would have been in 98, 97.
Yeah, that sounds right. For some reason, 99 just sounds late to me. But I still
Well,
think it's
Dylan,
point.
we're like 29, like 28, 29. So when we reach 30, it's 30 years ago is going to be like fucking what was 2019, 2020, 2021. So 30 years ago is going to be fucking 1998 at that point. At any rate.
Well, no, it'll be 1990 because that's how math works. When
well,
we're 30,
28 years. Well, I'm saying in this time, for like, never mind. Doesn't matter.
I don't know what you're talking about.
In the Pappy Land era, 96, 93, 99. But
the good years.
The good years, really. That's really what it's all about.
Reaganomics and Pappy Land.
So actually, I was wrong. It wasn't a Canadian adaptation. It was it was Syracuse. It was local. From 93 to 95, it was on PBS, and then the show was actually moved to TLC from 96 to 97, and then they aired reruns until 03. The cartoonist who played Pappy, his name is Michael Cariglio. He was born in Utica. So most of it was shot on like blue screen. So anyway, here's the point. before we get too fucking far into this. I was 8 years old. My grandparents knew that I loved Pappy, and they found out that he was at the Landmark Theater in Syracuse. So they took me up there to go watch his like live show thing that he was doing, and there was like a meet and greet, so I got to meet Pappy. Now, here's that's not as interesting as this part of the seminar. Like I said, I used to watch Pappy constantly, and I would draw or try to draw everything that he ever did on the show. And I didn't send in all of the drawings that I ever did, but I did send in ones that I thought were really good. Now, at the end of every show, Pappy had the hall of drawings, to where the camera would pan down this hallway with like 3D, bullshit 3D 97 3D frames on the walls that had kids' drawings in them, and then at the end he would profile the best one. Now, before you get too excited, I never got the one that was profiled, at least to my knowledge. But there was one episode where I was watching at my aunt's house. I had just drawn the picture that he drew that day, and every single fucking episode I watched for the pictures to blow by or to wait and see if I got the one, like the Pappy's favorite drawing. One time, though, I did, and it goes by fast, but my drawing was on the walls, like, of the hallway before they got to the end of it to show, like, the best drawing. Take that, motherfuckers. You never thought Brent would amount to anything, but he got his drawing on fucking Pappy
Well,
Land.
thanks a lot. No wonder why this podcast isn't popular. You wasted your 15 minutes on Pappy 20 years ago. Jesus. We're doing this for fame, nothing. If I'd have known that.
Someday I would have had this story anyway, and it would have... look, I'm just telling you, that just shows that I was destined for greatness. You can leave that however you want to leave it. Let's cut that out. Now,
I don't edit this.
I don't edit this. The only time I edit it is when there's like a 25-minute silence when somebody breaks into my room, kicks down the fucking door. Oh, I guess I'm going to have to write a timestamp down. Shit.
I don't even do that.
Just look through it.
Yep.
For when somebody's not at their chair. Oh, there's somebody who left. So, now, breaking back into... So we talked about Paw Patrol. We talked about my Pappy Land, right? Now we have to talk about a childhood dream that's 28 years in the making. When you and I get to see the on Broadway production of
It Wasn't Dark
the
That
popular
Night
Disney film Aladdin. So let's take ourselves back. I get on the train fucking 18 hours before the fucking show starts because I forgot to book the one that gets me in at like noon. The show's at 2 o'clock. So I plop myself down in New York. I'm walking around. I visit my favorite coffee shop in Midtown, Culture Espresso, get myself a giant espresso. Now, what happens, Dylan, when you drink a giant espresso and you start moving and shaking and walking around? You got to take the biggest dump of your life. You got to take a dump that New York, especially Midtown Manhattan, doesn't care that you got to take. The city will chew you up and spit you out, Dylan, is what I'm trying to say. Times Square, 47th Street, Dylan, doesn't give a shit
about your
whether
shit.
Or not you just had a job. It doesn't give a shit about your shit. You're absolutely right. So when you're trying to find a place to call your very own, that you can evacuate this demon seed that's growing inside of you, larger by the minute, it's giving you a cold sweat. It's giving you the shivers. It's horrific. What do you have to do? Well, here's what I had to do. I had to travel from Hell's Kitchen all the way back down to Broadway before you guys got off the subway, and I had to get myself into a McDonald's. Now, as we know, Broadway is a home to all different kinds of restaurants and bars. Most of them are going to be chains. McDonald's is the only one where I know that you could get to use a bathroom. Unfortunately, the bathroom that I need to use is the most horrible bathroom pretty much in Manhattan. It's almost of legend how bad it is. And B, you need to buy something from McDonald's in order to get into it, because they print a code to use the bathroom on your receipt. So they got it all down pat, Dylan. All the pieces are aligning in place. I'm broken out into a cold sweat because I got to take the dump of a lifetime. And I'm wandering into a McDonald's not knowing that you got to do that.
Did the cappuccino place not have a bathroom?
This cappuccino place barely had a counter to get the coffee at.
Oh, okay. That's one of those.
It's got 4 stools and 3 tables.
All right.
This place is inside of a bathroom.
I know.
So,
I've seen those places.
Of course.
My favorite one is the Dunkin' Donuts, where it is just a counter.
I went into that one. Oh, Dylan.
Oh, no, not that one. The one that's you walk up to get coffee because it's
it's on the street?
It's on the street, yeah.
Now, the one I went into, actually, the first place I went into to try was the one where I was down for the influencer conference, as you'll remember.
Is that the one around the corner from the Nintendo, New York?
Yep.
It's like down that road.
That one is the one that's a hallway with a bathroom at the end of it, at the very least.
Oh, there's a
And you also have to, but yeah, there is one in there. I tried that one.
I think we're thinking of a different one. Because
it could be.
There's a much smaller Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah. There's a lot of Dunkin' Donuts.
We're talking about a 20 square foot area. It's like,
now,
what Dunkin' Donuts are you talking about? Well, it's the one that's a window.
In order to dunk my donut, Dylan.
Here's your coffee, you fat piece of shit.
I only needed to use the bathroom. I don't even want to just pour that shit out into the gutter. Now, in order to pour my shit out into the gutter, I had to walk into the McDonald's and walk to the back hallway where the bathroom was, and I noticed that there was a keypad on it. So I felt like I was playing Resident Evil. Somehow I have to figure out how to get the key. I got to find the armor key. I got to find the snake key so that I can get into this fucking bathroom.
Drop a brown snake into the toilet.
Fucking...
Well, that's assuming it's solid at this point. It could just be the bog water that the snake swirls around.
Now, there was these 2 lovely British ladies that were also trying to use the women's bathroom adjacent, and they realized, because again they're filthy foreigners, that this is New York and you get nothing for free. So they look at the keypad again, like I'm playing Resident Evil, wondering where I need to get this key lock number from.
You just got to look at what numbers are worn out the most.
It's what is this, fucking Mr. Robot? National Treasure? It's like, hey, you just got to look at the numbers of which ones are worn out, and then you run a permutation on them so that you can fit. I don't know why I'm doing like Jesse Ventura. That was supposed to be Nicolas Cage.
It was close.
So the gentleman that was sitting adjacent to the bathrooms decided to be a great sport and hand those 2 ladies his receipt for his meal that had the bathroom code on the bottom of it. And then once they finished entering in their number, I did some corporate espionage and I repeated that number on my keypad. So
you
I
did
didn't have to
Mr.
buy
Robot
anything.
your way into it.
I did Mr. Robot it because
Yeah,
all I had to do was
the
just
words.
like I put my hand in my ear and I said, "What's that? What number did you say? Oh, hang on, 6837. All righty, time to take a dump." So here's the problem: you go in there. There's a urinal and there's one stall, and boy, this one stall has seen a lot. If stalls could talk, Dylan, it would say, "What the fuck."
Help me.
Help me. Why am I still living? So I went in and I realized that, of course, why, Why would anybody occasionally go in here and think, you know what, maybe we need a new latch on the stall door? It's New York. People just shit in the open. It's open defecation anyway. So why would we put a lock on the stall? All right, cool. Here's what's got to happen. I got to brace myself with one hand. I got to put my other hand on the door so that nobody comes into it. I got to make my presence known is what I'm trying to say.
Occupado.
Occupado. It's got to be in it. So I sit down. I sweat and I cry and I think about my life and I wonder how it got to this point. I don't know, I'm having an existential crisis. I'm outside of my body. And then the deed is done. Used a half-ply toilet paper to try to not make a mess of myself. And then I'm ready. I'm fully cleansed and ready to take in the most wonderful Broadway show that anybody's ever seen. Aladdin. I felt like Prince Ali walking out of that stall, successfully gaming the system. I had figured it out.
I did it.
I marched out with my head held high, and I went and sat with you.
Hey, you didn't buy anything. Doesn't matter. You're still cleaning my shit, because I ain't taking that back.
Here's what's happening. I didn't buy anything, but also, we're in Manhattan right now. Have you ever seen what happens around here? Have you ever seen the kind of people? My ass is the cleanest one that's ever sat on that seat. And I'm not richer for the experience. And what I had to go through is not worth buying a regular hamburger.
It's got a little bit of disease. Just a little disease.
On it. It's good for you. It increases the immunity. I told you, Dylan, when I was in Hangouts with you, that I said nothing proves a man's character more than taking a shit with a broken stall door in the middle of New York City.
Now, would you say excuse me. Would you say that
Hot take.
This stall was worse than the one in Rochester where you walked in and it was a toilet sitting in the middle of the room?
Without question, Dylan. I would have rather. So I'll give myself a who would you rather on this. For those who don't know, this is the stall that Dylan's talking about. Was in the middle of a Burger King that, for some reason, had 2 sinks, 2 urinals, 2 closed stalls, and then a toilet immediately adjacent to the door that you open to go into the bathroom with no walls around it. So apparently they had thought, well, you have 2 options. If you can lock the door, you have an entire 4-person bathroom to yourself to take a shit on this completely open toilet. Or if you have no shame, which judging by the location of this Burger King, you might not.
I mean, to be fair, the person who was working tried to buy your shirt off your back.
I remember that it was probably a bad decision to wear what my girlfriend at the time called a shirt that she bought from the black people section, which was an Ed Hardy shirt, very expensive. It was wrong of me to wear that to the particular location that I wore it, and really that's because real recognize real, right?
Yeah, that's
like
what they say.
Somebody comes in
Lil
and
Nas
they're like,
X-matic.
"Yo, not Lil Nas X." He's like, "Yo, I fuck with that shirt right there. I fuck with that." And then I didn't know what to say. The person that was about to serve me one of the worst meals I've ever had in my life is also trying to purchase the shirt off my back, which I happen to know probably cost near $50. So you process that and then you move on. But the toilet, the picture of that toilet in my mind, Dylan, will never leave me. It's an image that's been imprinted on my psyche for the rest of my life. And when you ask me, what one would you rather take a shit on? It's the one that's
still
in
that
Burger
toilet?
King. It's still that one. Because here's what I know. I know that in a relatively like outside portion of town, even in Rochester, somebody's cleaning or able to clean that toilet more often than a bathroom that's visited 15 billion times by
true.
patrons from all over the globe.
Yep.
And also, I can go into that bathroom, and if somebody sees me open shitting on that toilet,
that's a certain dominance right there. They just turn around and walk away.
You just look like they go in, they're like, oopsie, and then close the door. Now, here's what would happen in the oopsie scenario in New York.
Well, they say oopsie, and they close the door, and then they stand there for a minute, and they think,
why was there other toilets?
Did I catch in my eye at least 6 other toilets in this single bathroom?
The question he has is, were all of the rest of those toilets full? Was this person maybe differently abled in some capacity? Did he just have an emergency because he's at a Burger King? There's so many questions, but really the answer to the question is oopsie occupado, and then you what? Because that's what everybody does. You open the doors, oopsie occupado, and then you close the door because you made an oopsie. I doubt that the kind of setting that you're in the bathroom that I was in McDonald's is an oopsies type of setting. Nobody's going to hit you with the oopsies. They're going to hit you with like a fucking whale the door open because they didn't think anybody was in there and a fuck you and then piss in or take a shit in the urinal. That's what's going to happen in the
they got to go just as bad as you because they hit up not the same espresso shop, but a different one because there's plenty.
Look, there's so many coffees all available in New York. People run on coffee. What a tragic irony that a city like New York, the city that never sleeps, it's also the city that never stops shitting. Because you're eating multicultural ethnic food from questionable sources.
They never sleep because they're still looking for that bathroom to take the shit in.
If I did not find that bathroom in McDonald's, Dylan, I can't guarantee you that I wouldn't have gotten back on a subway. I couldn't guarantee you that I wouldn't have taken out a room at the Marriott down the street just to take a private shit. That's what I couldn't have told you. I would have told you that, Dylan, we're staying one more night in New York because I just got a Marriott for the night with Marriott Silver, Elite, Gold, Platinum Plus membership, and I'm going to take a shit in that hotel room. That's what would have happened if I couldn't have done that.
What was I going to say? Oh, you would have... It's a shame because you probably could have taken a shit in that nice Hard Rock Cafe bathroom because you didn't have to sit down and eat. It was just right there.
Yep, that would have been nice. But look, time makes a fool of us all, Dylan, and bodily functions are bodily functions.
Now you know, but now that's like it's up in the. You can pretend you're looking at Angus Young's SG.
Ooh, that's nice.
That's,
suddenly got to poop. Man, all these guitars and timeless memorabilia make me have to shit real bad. Now, all I want to say, Dylan, about Aladdin is it was wonderful. It was a great time. It was very well acted. I do have one thing to tell you, though. I found out something about the performance that was the very next day. And I don't know if you know this.
Oh, no.
Now,
What'd
hang
we
on.
miss?
Well, I don't know if it's something. I don't think you're going to be extremely upset about it because it wasn't like a celebrity had, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a Billy Joe Armstrong coming back to do American Idiot. It wasn't that. But what it would have been was very interesting.
I mean, we saw the guy who played Jafar in the cartoon play Jafar.
100% we did see that. Now, but here's what they did. It just so happens that the night after, they had every single genie that's ever played as the genie on stage as the genie. So they've had...
I saw that YouTube video. That was the next night?
That was the very next night.
Wow.
Yeah. The only reason I say that is because Becky's one of Becky's coworkers is a big theater buff, and she went to see that show. Or maybe didn't. No, I think she was going to see another show and was looking up the shows and saw that as a news clip. So that was what that was. But damn, we saw a hell of a show. You know,
how'd they do that magic carpet?
I don't know, man. That's a hell of a stage trick. It was a hell of a stage trick. We're still trying to dissect it. Theories are theories. Now, this is a segment that we haven't had in a long time. I'm going to try to keep it within 20 minutes or less. It's Brent's travel stories.
Oh, okay.
It's Brent's travel log, his travel diary, right?
We talked about Paw Patrol for longer than the fucking Aladdin.
We definitely did. But look, Aladdin is Aladdin. It's a great show. You can I mean, it was well acted, it was well performed, the singers were fantastic, the stage effects were fantastic, the theater's fantastic. There's nothing else to say about it. Go see it. Go see that prick. They should put that right on the poster. Go see that prick.
Right in the playbill.
Right in the playbill. Go see that prick. Some random asshole who took a shit in a McDonald's bathroom. So I took a trip to Phoenix and Tucson, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Not Arizona, all the way to Tacoma, Philadelphia. And I've been to all of those places except for LA. Northern California haven't been to.
Oh.
I hear the girls are warm, which is a weird statement, Steve Miller.
I believe it's pronounced Northern California, right?
Northern California, where the girls are warm. So, Phoenix, it's got all the staples. It's hot as fuck.
Yep.
It was good to go down there, get some heat into my bones. It felt fantastic. But here's the thing. So, on the way there, it wouldn't be a Brent's travel story without this. So, relatively, so here's the thing. This part never happened to me. Normally, Dylan, when I fly, when I get to the second connection is when shit gets delayed, and I'm stuck in fucking Baltimore airport or in one or fucking Chicago Midway.
You never get stuck close to home.
Stuck the fuck. No. Now, this time we get to Albany Airport. We're ready to go. It's a late flight. It's around 5 o'clock. I think the flight takes off at like 5:50. We get there. I look at the board. First of all, Dylan, it's fucking snowing. I don't understand why. It's been 60 degrees every single other day. Right when I get to the airport, it's snowing. So there's snow on the tarmac.
What day was this?
Oh, shit. It was probably... It might have been when you guys got dumped on.
Yeah.
It was the 8th through the 10th, but we were leaving on the 5th. So it was the 5th. It was April 5th, right around in there.
Yeah. I think we got dumped on pretty good.
So that snow comes through. And, of course, the flight is delayed by 15 minutes. Now, normally, who gives a fuck about 15 minutes? Like, especially if it's a direct flight. I don't give a shit when it takes off as long as it gets there. But here's the problem. The flight is landing in Baltimore, and we have a 50-minute layover in Baltimore. Now, normally... Sometimes you can get a 50-minute layover and you get lucky because you land at a gate that's like 2 gates away from where you're going to take off. So you just walk 50 feet and there's the gate for your next plane. So you don't got to really worry about a 50-minute layover. But now we have to worry about a 35-minute layover. So we have 35 minutes. Now that doesn't include what time we might spend on the tarmac getting the plane de-iced. So we finally get on the plane after a 15-minute delay, and then the pilot comes over the microphone and says, well, we got to de-ice the plane, so we're going to pull out another tarmac, and then we're going to get it de-iced. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, we're fucked. We're so fucked. We land that plane. And when they land the plane, we land it. I helped the pilot land the plane.
Okay.
And then when we pull into the terminal, no sooner does that thing, the jet bridge hit the plane, like to get it to the door, does my phone on the Southwest app come up with the thing that says the flight's boarding. We're in the front of the plane. Well, actually, for this one, we're not in the front of the plane. We're in the center of the plane. So now I see that the plane is boarding, and I look over at my travel companion. And I say, we have to run. When we get outside of this plane, we have to run. So I have my carry-on, my backpack on. He's got his backpack on in the laptop bag. Where we start at gate 8-9, and we have to go to gate B1, which is a full 20 gates on the other side of the airport. So we get out, we start running. I go up and down. I'll go up one escalator, down one escalator, run all the way through B10 through 1. And we get to the gate. And when we get to the gate, everybody's in line, and I put down my bag, and they say, all right, now boarding group A1 through 10. That was how it happened. And I had A2. The first guy walks up, scans his shit. I'm sweating. I stagger over to the thing, scan it for A2, and dump myself into the seat to get on that plane and actually make it onto that aircraft.
And everyone wonders how Kevin McAllister got lost in the New York airport because they were late. You know,
dude, every single fucking day, look, I'm just one guy. I'm just one person trying to make their flight. Every single fucking day, there are a group of parents with their 3 kids trying to get them to fucking Disney World and get them to shut the fuck up, who are now late for their flight, and they can't get another one till tomorrow morning because they got the cheap flight that was the red eye. And now they have to go find a hotel room and get a meal voucher from some asshole on the bottom floor near baggage claim who doesn't know what the fuck their flight number was. And now they got to know. And so they go over to the Hardee's and they get a shitty burger for all their stupid kids who don't give a fuck about what's going on and just want normal food that they eat at home. And then they have to put those normal kids in a hotel room, all of 3 in one queen bed. And then they got to wake up the next morning early as fuck because they got on a standby flight at 5:30 in the morning. And maybe they can't even get everybody onto that flight. So now the mom's got to break up and go with the fucking 3 kids, and the dad's got to sit and get another meal voucher and get the flight out at 3 o'clock that afternoon. And then they all meet in Disney World and kill themselves. Yeah, thank God for a moment of fucking silence from these kids.
I hope I'm gonna get on a flight. Some rat poison in this cocksucking burger.
He's sitting there wondering if he should jump off the second story of the fucking of the Orlando airport and grind his face into the tarmac.
Maybe if I take this Roy Roger French fry out of this holder that looks like a goddamn gun holster and I just shove it down my throat straight, it'll clog my windpipe and I will die right here next to the fucking pickle bar.
And then he sucks it up, realizes he's got something to live for, and then he goes and buys a $29 yard of Long Island iced teas at the Epcot Center because that's all he's got, baby. That's all he's got. Now, so I get it. The point is that I get it. I get the travel problems. Once we get to Phoenix, but here is where my time was redeemed, right? I had to get a rental car. So before we took the trip, I was looking on... Yes, baby.
Question?
Mm-hmm.
Question? Right here. Question?
Hello, Dylan?
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
You in the front?
Yes. So, did you not have baggage? Or how does that work?
Only the guy who traveled with me checked a bag. I did not check a bag. I took everything carry-on, so everything that goes with me goes with me. There's no chance of losing it.
Okay, so the guy that ran next to you, how did he get his bag?
So this was on the transfer, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is when that plane lands, it's faster for them to unload the baggage than it is, because you got to think, I ran across the airport to get in line for boarding.
Okay.
Our baggage went across the airport in time for the plane to take off, which is a half-hour difference.
Okay. All right.
So I got there in 10 minutes. The baggage got there in 35 minutes.
So when you have a transfer, there's like a tag on it that they know to just, which is,
yeah,
I guess that makes sense.
There's a pink tag on every
bags
piece of luggage. That's why they get lost. Because what'll happen is, if the connection can't make it, your bags go into holding, and then you have to figure out how to get your bags back if your flight isn't going to make it, and sometimes it'll go on the wrong flight.
Okay. All right.
So then your baggage will end up in fucking Guam, which happens to people. Luckily, ours didn't.
Cool.
All of our baggage made it to Phoenix intact. Now, when we got to Phoenix, we had to get a rental car because we were going to drive from Phoenix to Tucson, because Tucson was where the conference was. Phoenix was where we had a separate meeting with a different client.
Like with the famous ovens from there, right? The Tucson, Tuscan. Never mind. There's something different.
Under the Tucson sun.
Under the Tuscan sun.
Was the Tucson? Tucson?
Tucson? Toucan?
Tuscan? Toucan?
Is that where the Fruit Loops are from?
Etruscan? So...
Tusk?
Famous film by Kevin Smith, critically panned. So before we go on the trip, I know it's going to be shit, right? It's not a trip I want to go on. So I'm like, I'm going to make this fun for me. So I get on Enterprise, and I didn't figure this out until I realized, oh, just wait. It's going to be good. I was looking at it, and I was like, okay, we got to get a full-size car. It's gonna have because we're gonna have a shitload of luggage. I ain't driving a spec to try to fit our luggage in a fucking smart car. So I go to like the full size like Ford Fusion or similar. That's usually, it's like a Ford Fusion or a whatever the fuck, one of those big ass cars.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll get that. But then I scroll down one more, and I head into the sports category, which was like something like $10 extra per day. I was renting it for like 3 days. I was like, fuck that. I'm going to rent the sports one because it's like the same price for 3 days.
You don't pay for it anyways, do you?
No, I don't pay for it. But the thing is that even if I got in trouble for it, I would be like, go ahead and go spec the price up for the Ford Fusion. It's going to be the same price essentially. Go look at it.
I'll give you the $30.
Whatever. And look, everybody else has to rent like giant fucking vans for all the other shit that we do because we carry around shit everywhere and people. So I was like, all right, for the 3 days, let's do something a little bit more interesting, a little bit more fun. So the sports category was Dodge Challenger or similar. Now here's what I know. The Dodge Challenger has like something that's like for the poor man, like sports car type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just got like a V6 in it, and it's like, a normal car. Basically, it's just a little bit higher powered full size car that just looks like a Challenger. And then you go all the way up to something that's like a Hellcat, which is like in the 700 horsepower range, which is like a death trap. So that's your spectrums. But there's ones in the middle. So I didn't know what we were going to get. I didn't even know if it was going to be a Dodge Challenger because it says or similar. So when we land in the airport, we go down to Enterprise, and the woman comes up to me and says, oh, hey, go ahead and check in here, and then, you can go to your car. So I don't see anything that would be remotely like they had like an exotic car section that had like a Tesla in it and a bunch of other shit, and I was starting to get really excited. But I was like, I think the exotic car is like a specific section on the website, so I'm like, there's no way I would have fucking gotten that. It would have been a fortune. But I was like optimistic. I was excited to see what they got. She's like, okay, so we're pulling the car up in a second. So
Hands
I
are
was
going
like,
together.
I was
You look like a
ooh,
fly eating a
ooh,
pile of shit.
ooh, baby, oh baby, oh baby. So we're just sitting there shooting the shit, and then all of a sudden we hear, vroom. I was like, oh god. The car comes up the on ramp into the parking garage. It's a 2019 stark white Dodge Challenger H4, fully loaded with a supercharged V8 in it. That's what it's the Hemi. The Hemi is the supercharged V8 engine. It's the H4. They pull that prick up. I first of all, I don't even know what I was just aghast at what I was seeing first of all. And then when I sat in it, it had 500 miles on it.
Oh my god.
I was like, holy shit. I'm driving a straight off the lot 2019 Dodge Challenger with a V8 in it. So, and it's when I say fully loaded, Apple CarPlay, fully adjustable seats, heated seats, like we would need that. Everything you can think of in the car had a full backup camera. The backup camera you could film a movie on. I was floored with this car. And so they handed me the keys. I got in it. We got out onto the open road and we wound that motherfucker up 100 times and it never got old.
Oh
we
man,
got,
I bet you in the fucking Arizona, dude.
Dude, when we got into Arizona and we got out onto some of those roads, I turned it into sport mode and we get stopped at a stoplight and I hit the gas on it and we were back in our seats so fast I couldn't even believe it. Like, so I was like, oh, this is going to be a good weekend. So we were doing that and, oh, dude, we were driving around in Arizona, sunset, fucking white Dodge Challenger, sunglasses on, winding that shit up.
Cheese sticks.
Oh, dude. Like just going for it.
Big city cheese sticks driving around in
dude.
rented Challenger.
I felt like such a sack of shit. Like, but in the best possible way. We were pulling into restaurants. We were pulling into hotels for meetings with this thing, just like tossing the sunglasses on the seat. Just be like, fucking pull that around. Like, oh, it was exquisite. We visited this place. It's called the Westgate Entertainment District. That's right next to our first hotel in Phoenix, which is this like thing where there's a huge fucking hockey arena and then there's like a huge like football arena and then next to it is this like huge double-decker courtyard with a fountain and like 30 restaurants, 20 bars, and like just a ton of shit in it. And we walked around that place. Oh my god, dude. That's the kind of place where you can get into some real trouble. Think Varick Street, but nice weather, double-decker, better food, fountain, live music in the courtyard.
Somewhere like
DJs.
Armory Square.
It's like Armory Square, but if it were all built from the ground up.
Okay.
And there were no roads. There's no roads. Like, there's a road that goes to a parking lot, but after that, you're walking through this and every road is closed.
Oh, yeah,
5 roads.
Okay. The Armory Square.
No, it's every road. Like, the plaza is like what it is. Mm-hmm. The plaza is like the big part. And then 4 or 5 roads adjacent, like every block down is closed.
That's pretty sick.
And they all lead into one another. Like there's like little cubby holes on each side of the plaza.
What's the bowling situation in this plaza?
So we went and ate at a restaurant that had bowling inside of it.
That's all I gotta hear. That's all I gotta hear.
And the way they do
I was wondering if this area was perfect.
Oh,
and so
Dylan, it's beyond.
So
it's beyond that.
My level of perfect is, can I bowl there?
It had the biggest AMC movie theater that I've ever. AMC.
Yes. Yeah. AMC.
the biggest AMC movie theater I've ever seen in my life. It was bigger than some of the ones that are in Orlando. Like, it towered. It was like 3 stories tall. It was fucking huge. It looked like the Universal Studios gateway. Like when you go into Universal Studios, that's what it looked like. It was just a testament to modern commercialism, Dylan. It was unfucking believable.
My favorite.
Just, oh yeah. So, now I had some barbecue, unbelievably delicious. Blew my mind how unbelievable the barbecue was. I had some tacos that made me want to pray to Jesus. I can't tell you how amazing this was. It's beyond comprehension. So anyway,
Are they known for their barbecue?
Yeah, but the thing is that their barbecue is a melting pot barbecue because they're near California.
Yeah,
California has like its own sort of like fresh Mex type of barbecue.
That's what I was wondering. Like when you said mind blowing tacos, like that makes sense to me. But the barbecue like you've gone down south and had like actual.
I've had Texas barbecue and I've had Memphis barbecue and the only one I haven't had is like South Carolina, like Carolina barbecue.
See,
but I'm familiar with it.
I was gonna say if it's got a sauce named after it, it's gonna be good barbecue. You can get like Memphis barbecue sauce. You can also get Carolina sauce.
Oh, absolutely.
You're missing out on that one.
So that barbecue, that barbecue that I got again, it was a face melter. It was unbelievable. That's where on Instagram where those chickens were roasting. That was inside that barbecue place. It was called Bobby Q. For anybody that's out, Bobby Q. For anybody that's out in the Phoenix area and Phoenix, Glendale, if you're out in the Glendale area, oh my God, go out to Bobby Q. You'd fucking. You won't be disappointed. Whew. Praise Jesus. Anyway, so we got to talk about you, Dylan. We got to talk about what's going on in Dylan's life right now. Who's this now?
Huh?
Who's this Dylan person?
What?
So you were telling me that this weekend you partook in some Lost Horizon, and this week's Spike Seltzer report is brought to you by
White Claw.
It
was a White Claw establishment.
That's what's suddenly going to be the thing where it's like, you know how some bars are like, this is a Labatt Blue bar, this is a whatever it is, like this establishment serves blank or whatever it happens to be. That's what eventually bars are going to be.
I've seen that, like the Labatt Blue. This is the Labatt Blue bar, but I've also seen a little stinger, like on that same sign where it's like,
we got White Claw too.
White Claw too. Just
just in case you're a man of culture who wants to
flavor.
Watch out for the carbs, baby, and you want some of that flavor. Look. You can't get no further than just some flavor. That's what it's all about on the seltzers. Just some. What is that? Ooh. It's like the cousin of a strawberry. It's like just a little bit. So we know that it's White Claw, but what we also know, Dylan, is you said that they ran out of Bud Light
before we even got there.
What time did you get there?
Before 9, maybe like.
And I got another question. What was there? Were you just going there?
Okay, so it was at one point a Hands Like Houses of Mice and Men show.
Okay.
Of Mice and Men dropped out because they had medical problems or something. Some medical reason.
Boy.
So we just went to see Hands Like Houses. Now,
we
are unaccustomed to is concerts at bars that don't go till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So we get there and 2 bands have already played.
Oh my God.
We missed 2 bands.
Holy shit.
And so we're there. We got there probably about 8:45-ish. 8:45. So we're like waiting around while Hands Like Houses is setting up. But we didn't even know it was them. Like, it didn't occur to us that, like, the headlining band was coming on right now as we walked in. And so they played it, and they were done at, like, 10:30. Like, when I was texting you last night, it was over.
Yep. Wow. Holy shit. Okay. And you didn't know that of Mice and Men dropped out, or when did you know?
We did know.
But you just went because you already had tickets?
Well, I didn't have tickets, but so Shy had 1 tickets off K-Rock.
Oh, okay.
I got, like, because I know Justin was, like, kind of on the fence about it at one point, but
right,
they were sitting in the car at, like, in the McDonald's drive-thru, and they're like, "Hey, you want to win tickets to be the 9th caller or whatever?" Justin's like,
she called
"Don't
and got
call,
it.
You're never gonna win or whatever." You know, the classic Justin. Get out of here with that bullshit.
Oh God.
Yeah, and so she called up, and sure enough, won 2 tickets.
Oh my God.
And then I wasn't gonna go, but Ashley's like, "It's my birthday. I want to do something." And I'm like, "God damn it.
It's my birthday and I want to listen to metal."
It's like, I don't want to do anything, but fine, I'll take you there. And they were good.
I'm sure the sound quality hasn't really improved in Lost
That was
Horizon
pretty good.
since we were there. Like, it was all right.
I've never been there. It was good. They sounded good. I don't know if they had their own stuff there that...
We've been to Lost Horizon.
I've never been there.
Weren't we there for
Didn't
Born
go.
of Osiris and Icy Stars?
Didn't go.
What the fuck was that then? Was it just me, Brian,
I
and
think so, yeah.
Jeff
Justin.
or something?
Yeah, you, Brian, Jeff, or Justin or something like that.
Oh, shit. All right. That was a horrible night, as I recall. I remember there being a lot of bikers in there, and I remember there being a lot of people that were just straight up punching people in the face. Like, yeah, 100%.
This wasn't that kind of show.
Yeah, I can't imagine it would have been.
I mean, there was like mosh pits and stuff, but
that was at a time where metal was huge. That type of metalcore was like, holy shit. I mean, we were kind of on our way out, but it wouldn't be for another 2 or 3 years. So it was right at the pinnacle, pre-Skrillex, you know, because that was what pretty much moved the dial over was Skrillex. The Headbangers moved over to Skrillex and then later to Snails. For the most part, the Rail Riders, as we would put them. So after our beautiful trip to Lost Horizon, then
we went back to Justin's and played Rock Band.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Now you got me sad. Now you got me, because that sounds like an ideal night for me.
I'm bringing Rock Band over.
I love that. Love everything about it.
Making everyone play it.
All of you. Every single one of you.
Watch me be good at this game.
Easy. Watch me be good.
I cannot get the calibration right on your TV. It's awful. I gotta play everything a half a millisecond behind.
Yes. Boy, we've done a lot. I'm just looking at this list right here, and boy, it's crazy. Oh, you know, there was one last thing I wanted to footnote this, because I think it's easy to diminish the kind of television that one would watch when they're traveling in their hotel room. And I just wanted to, and I know I told you this, but I think I just wanted to illuminate you to the kind of television you can watch when you're in Arizona on a business trip in your hotel room. One night I got really, really inebriated when we were at the conference. because as you know, Dylan, it's a conference. There's going to be your little get-togethers, and there's going to be free booze flowing. So vodka seltzers over and over and over and over and over again down the hatch. Needless to say, is going to leave you wandering back to your hotel room, and you're going to want to watch some television. Now, I was scrolling through the channels, just minding my own business, and then suddenly I saw a site that I never would have thought I'd see on television. I saw a cornhole board. And so I was wondering, what channel could this possibly be on? I was like, is it a public access channel, like an Arizona public access thing? ESPN. And I scroll back to the channel, and it was ESPN2. Where are we as a species?
I don't know.
So I decide to keep watching. And these people who play cornhole, Dylan, I'm not kidding you, play it like they're professional bowlers. These people are tossing bags and hitting holes like I've never seen in my entire life. They're not even sliding the bags across the board, Dylan. They're fucking nothing but net on every single one. They're just swooping the bags into the hole. There's no just ahead of the hole and watch the bag slide into it. It's directly into the top of it every time. And you can hear that thunk, that satisfying thunk, over and over and over. And so the people that are commentating on it are even more fantastic because it's like they're commentating on the Masters. Like, okay, we have Billy Joe Bob coming up to the plate. Now, his record has been in the past a little bit short on these types of plays. He's about 5 behind. He doesn't want to leave any bags on the board because he knows that that's going to be playing into his opponent's hand. So here he goes. Oh, that looks fantastic. That's going to really and it's like, what are the points? 135. There you go. 135 on the cornhole board. Oh, he hits a 5 every time. How exciting! So the thing that I noticed very, very early on was the sponsorships, because what's this live sporting event, Dylan, without sponsorships?
White Claw?
And I noticed that I wish it was White Claw. No. Number one, so it's on the cornhole board, and you have cameras. You have big cameras installed above the cornhole boards to give you the old bird's eye view. You know what I'm saying? So you got that up in the corner, and then you got the guy shunking those fucking things into the cornhole board. So that's where a sponsor is going to want to be placed, right? They're going to want to be placed on the lower thirds, but they're also going to want to be on the board. So the sponsorship was on the board was nothing except Johnsonville Bratwursts. So Johnsonville Bratwurst was on the top. And then on the bottom, I see a very familiar sponsorship. In fact, it was a sponsorship that we'd hope to have on this podcast because it's on every podcast in the world. Hims.com. So here's what I want to explain.
Did I make a Johnsonville joke to you recently? I made
this. I told you this earlier.
No, you didn't.
I think you made the Johnsonville joke in response to what I said, which was you said it was the definition of targeted marketing. Because I said this is, I'm going to read it exactly what you said.
Okay.
Or exactly what our conversation was. I said, I'm out here in the desert just watching the Cornhole Championship on ESPN2. Half in the bag. And you said, I'm sitting here with Justin and a tower of beer at AMF Bowling. And then I said, you ever look up at the moon and wonder if someone else is looking at that same moon? And then I said, these motherfuckers are real good at cornhole. And then you said, because you're a half in the bag, if you walked up to a cornhole competition, you'd be at least 4th seed. And I said, Dylan, they make it every time. And Hims.com and Johnsonville is printed on the boards. You tell me whether or not that's a double entendre, because I don't know. And then you're like, that's the definition of targeted marketing.
Okay.
I said, this is all the makings of a great bit. I had another bit the other day about jerking off in mid-century modern furniture that's one for the ages. And And then I said one more joke about Arizona, and I have a tight 10 that I could take out to the comedy club across from my hotel. And you said, nothing says breakfast like, can I get morning wood and what goes good with eggs? And then I said, Hims made sure that my Johnsonville cheddar wurst incidentally turned out to be the best. So,
good bit.
Good one. You're right. It is the definition of targeted marketing. The man that's watching half in the bag who wants a Johnsonville bratwurst and is also worried about his performance in the bedroom is watching people play cornhole.
Worried about the is my dick good?
Speaking of Johnsonville brats, is this thing gonna do something? I better get some Hims. So from boner pills to what I mentioned earlier, which was my star-studded bit about mid-century modern furniture and jacking off. I wrote it down in my phone because I don't know what state of mind I was in that caused me to write this.
I don't even know what it means.
So yeah. So here's two things actually, Dylan, that I took away. This is the first one. Here's what I wrote verbatim. This was the bit that I wanted to write. I said, the weirdest thing about jerking it on your computer isn't about what you are watching currently. It's the tab that comes up when you close your private tab. You just got done watching some nasty shit, and then your eBay tab is open with a listing of vintage Herman Miller plastic chairs. Who knew mid-century modern furniture could be so erotic?
All right.
And then, the other piece of television that I saw in Arizona, which just happened to be a commercial that was in the middle of the Cornhole Championships. I'm not making this up.
Well, I know you're not changing that, so I knew you were watching the Cornhole Champions.
Oh, no, here we go.
You can just break the knob off once that comes on.
It was actually the show that was I watched after the Cornhole Championships because I turned it to MSNBC where they CNN, where they have Anthony Bourdain, like No Reservation, playing on a constant fucking loop, right? This was the commercial that was in the middle of No Reservations. It was the first commercial break, or Parts Unknown, Anthony Bourdain. This was a commercial about Peyronie's disease. Here's what Peyronie's disease, Dylan, is after a quick Wikipedia search, which was also flagging me for some sort of thing in my hotel Wi-Fi that I don't want to be associated with. So, you're trying to watch some late night TV in your hotel and Anthony Bourdain eating some weird shit in Beijing. Then you hit the commercial and it says, does your dick curve real weird, like more than normal? We got a name for it now. It's called Peyronie's disease. Dylan, I'm not kidding you. The commercial was for a medication that is meant to treat a disease that makes your dick curve more than it normally does. How is somebody supposed to identify that? How is it
I guess if it's a right angle.
If your shit is some trigonometry, you should probably call up.
I mean, I can figure out
this
that.
number.
I don't need to look it up in the big book of commutable diseases to know that my dick ain't right. Well, it is right, and that's the problem. The morning that somehow the night before it looked fine, and then the morning after when you wake up, you're about to take a shower, you look down at that thing, and it's like, whoa. I could probably build a house with this thing at such a right angle. Looks like it's gonna try to take a reservation in my asshole. It's just taking the left turn all the way around.
I was floored, Dylan. You have no idea how insane that was. I can't even. And then, here's the next commercial. So the commercial after that, Dylan, was a commercial for Roundup, but it wasn't a commercial for the product Roundup. it was possibly what could happen when you use Roundup. I don't know if you've paid attention to the news, but I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a little bit of a controversial uh, thing.
Pesticides are bad?
They've always been, but now people are starting to notice. So the bit that this is the next thing I wrote. Thanks to TV, now our regular household weed killer is getting a bad rap. Hopefully you don't use Roundup. If you do, congratulations. Now you have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma because you couldn't possibly deal with a dandelion encroaching on your begonias, Karen. But then a Roundup commercial comes on and you feel better because Roundup is a trusted brand used for 40 years. Let's go ahead and decide whether or not this shit kills you. Because then I see this commercial that's put on by Roundup that says Roundup is a great weed killer. And then a fucking commercial the next day comes on that says it was like the mesothelioma commercials where it's like, hey, have you ever fucking used lead-based paint? You might have mesothelioma or whatever the fuck.
This is why I pay money to not see ads, because I want to die in peace. I don't need to know how I'm dying. Just let me die.
Dude, that's why hotel TV is the greatest thing ever, because you literally, 1 minute you're watching a fucking televangelist telling you that you're going to hell, and then you switch the channel and you're watching a professional cornhole fucking tournament on ESPN2 with boner pills and Johnsonville bratwurst, and then you're watching a thing where you might be able to sue somebody because you got mesothelioma or spina bifida. That's TV in hotels, dude. It's the best. It's my favorite thing. Anyway, that was my footnote to the whole thing. Was just it was exquisite. I want to, for our last 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
40 minutes, baby. 40 minutes we got.
Oh,
we're only in an hour and 20.
No hour, yeah.
Because I started the clock when we started our ranting and raving, as you will.
Our bits about bits.
The bits on bits, baby. This is how you workshop. You got to workshop shit. So, now media. We have consumed some media that I want to talk about. I do want to ask you: did you watch The Dirt?
Yeah, I did. I did watch it. Surprisingly.
Okay, good.
Surprisingly,
you watched The Dirt. Okay, good. I'm glad because you don't watch anything. You just play Kingdom Hearts.
I beat Kingdom Hearts too.
Yep. So that was our other thing is that I wanted to ask you about that.
Before I went to the concert, I'm like, I'm finishing this fucking game this weekend. Even if I gotta miss 2 bands.
Everybody's waiting here, just being like, Dylan, can you please? No. Shh, I'm busy.
Shut up.
This is really hard, boss. Shut the fuck up. I want to hear your opinion about The Dirt.
You want to hear my opinion about The Dirt?
Maybe not even so much your opinion. I mean, if you have one, great, because I know you don't have very many opinions on things. But I also want to just get your. I want to get your sort of 2 cents on whether or not you felt like it was an effective, like, did it feel like an effective movie compared to the book? Did it feel like it had like the right tongue in cheek?
Yeah, I did. The only thing I thought was, I felt like some parts they put in because they thought it was a good part of the book and not like it would make the movie better. Like they forgot that they were making a movie at some point and they were like, yeah, well, this happened also.
Yes, I think some of the scenes that most people would consider to be the most controversial ideas in the book, like the stuff that they depicted that was, I guess you would call it the most legendary pieces of their lore, they don't really weave into the fabric of a story of a band.
They could have dropped like the Ozzy bit.
Yep.
For more heroin stuff, because I feel like that was a bigger problem that they could have addressed than like the last act. Like,
yes, I know exactly.
Also heroin happened.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, I think what that might have something to do with is because
I was almost like, are they not even gonna touch that fact? This is like,
pretty far into the movie where you start to see him in his closet with the heroin stuff and all that.
It was at the end.
It was really quick. Oh yeah, 100%. It was like in the third act of the movie. And what I kind of took away from that maybe was that the heroin diaries is still there. Like it's still an available property, and it was just as successful as the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe if it was, I think it might have been a strategic choice for him because Nikki Sixx was the biggest executive producer on the movie. I think it was probably a choice by him to say, "Hey, there's a heroin problem, but I'm looking to get a deal done on this book on the heroin diaries," which I think I saw that he was doing. I think he wanted to turn it into a series.
So like a Netflix, probably another Netflix thing.
He wants to do like a Netflix 5-episode or something like that, like a short one based on that book. That's a little bit more like a Californication type of thing.
Yeah,
where
they probably gave him like this deal to be like, let's see how this does. Let's see how this hour-and-a-half movie works out, and then.
That's just a speculation on my part. That's because I just know that in the heroin diaries, it's so much more in detail about that era, and beyond. So that could be part of it. Now, that doesn't really justify it because I feel like what people were probably looking for with that movie was a bigger balance between what most would consider like some tugging at the heartstrings type of stuff, like Hanoi Rock, the Hanoi Rocks part, like that whole scenario with Vince, and then
like
the thing with Vince and his daughter.
It is a movie, so make it a movie. You're making this. You could do the documentary version of this movie also, but that's not what you chose to do. So lean more into the movie part.
Leaning more into the movie part would, I think, make it so that
don't throw like those pieces in that don't need to be there really.
The weirdest part is like how the one manager that they had a falling out with, that they had to leave him out of the movie, and they did that fourth wall part.
Yeah.
That was weird to me because that was something that I would put in a documentary, not in a movie. I wouldn't hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge at the fact that for the common person, they wouldn't even know who the fuck that was.
I think they did that to be like, to cement, like, yeah, this stuff actually happened. You know what I mean? I think that's why they did the fourth wall breaks and stuff.
On it. Yeah.
Or they were kind of like pushing in like, it's this shit happened. All this happened. But then,
I think though, most people don't go to a film now, and unless they're told, and again, even if they are at the beginning of the movie, this is like based on true events. Yeah. The qualifier's already in it. It says based on true events. We're already adapting a book that four drug-addled assholes had to recount what happened 30 years before it was written. And so, to me, you're probably already, for the purposes of making the book interesting, embellishing on several points. And then, once you make a movie out of it, you're already 2 levels removed from the sensationalism of it, right?
Yeah.
So now, if you're going to, at the beginning of a movie, say, and throughout the movie, say, this is all real shit, this all really happened, that's fine. But also, this is for a mass market film where most people don't know the intimate details of this band as it pertains to their legacy.
Yeah.
So why would you do that? Why would you make it as accurate as possible for the purposes of pleasing a fan base that largely probably wouldn't care? I wouldn't. I know what the real story is, but I want to see a film that takes that and turns it into a cohesive effort that's inspired by the antics of this particular band. Nobody's seen a film like this before, really. Rockstar is tame. It doesn't have nearly the amount of insanity that this does, and everything else is a documentary. the most people have seen is the decline of Western civilization, the Penelope Spheris movie, the third one. That's what most people have seen about bands like this. They've seen Bohemian Rhapsody, which is like a whitewashed kind of like happy-go-lucky celebration of a band. And not to say that this film isn't that, but it definitely isn't to that degree. It's definitely, at the very least, what I can credit them with is that they left the lumps in because they wanted them. Yeah. They wanted the fucked up stuff. Because look, Vince Neil got off with community service for driving a Pantera drunk in Hollywood and killed Razzle from Hanoi Rocks. Like, killed him. And nobody really talks about it. But they were like, you know what? We have to put it in the movie. Because it shows you that this guy, just based on the merits of his own art, basically got off scot-free, not unlike a significant number of musicians, artists, movie makers, and actors have done for years based on the merits of their own art. You get community service and you're back to fucking making records. And it's fucked. But that part I can appreciate that they left in. And at the very least, they at least put in the heroin parts a little bit. The Ozzy part was cool because the guy that played Ozzy, nobody's ever played him before. And I think that's a really hard caricature to nail. He got about 85% there.
I wasn't saying like, I just felt that
it didn't need to be. It definitely didn't need to be in there. No. And if they did, I think they could have done it as a story element that was maybe more told in story form.
Or break the fourth wall with it.
You could break the fourth wall if you wanted to, because they did it a couple times and it was actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
That was fine. Or you could do it in a montage. It didn't have to be a whole scene. You could do like a little bit of like a thing where it groups into some other shit that they did on that tour.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to do like a fast cut.
Nice.
Sort of. There was ways around
scene
it.
A to scene B montage.
Yeah, you kind of want it to be like something where you can mark the passage of time, but you don't want it to feel like it's rushed. So I think maybe the point that we're coming down to making with the film is ultimately it has an issue with pacing and it has a little bit of an issue with tone. But the skeleton is there and it's fun. So it's fun if you don't care about like a little bit of the pacing and because there's not really very many holes in a plot that doesn't really have an ending. The story isn't so much a happy ending other than they're still a band and they do stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like there's no plot holes. You don't have to suspend your disbelief for shit that really happened and is crazy. And it's like a bunch of vignettes, really. It's basically like watching a movie where it's like, oh, here, look at this, what happened. Oh, here, look at this, what happened.
Yeah, but it's not, though. It's like, look at this movie, and then they put in, oh, look at this, what happened. And I think that's the problem.
Yeah, they tried to do, I mean, it would have been a great show. You could have done it in a show format where maybe it was multiple eras.
Yeah.
Or maybe, again, the documentary format would always suit them. But I think the bombacity of it doesn't, I mean, you wouldn't really want to do a documentary with like that fucking unsolved mysteries acted out in between bullshit, like the simulation type of shit with like actors.
Or would you?
Maybe you could. I mean, if anybody could do it, they could. I would think they could do the thing where it's like Nikki Sixx talking about like the context of what was happening, and then it flashes to, you know, it actually happening with a younger version that look like him, you know, like they had in the movie. I think that Machine Gun Kelly as Tommy Lee was actually really good. I found him to be the most believable of them because he embodied that weird romantic puppy dog, but oddly like East LA.
You know,
idiot
what's funny is they had
type of guy.
He was covered head to toe in makeup the whole time.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Which I thought was funny, especially because he's like shirtless most of the time, so they had to cover everything up.
Yep.
You wouldn't think the makeup.
Well, and then later when they had to put Tommy's tattoos on him as he got them.
Yeah.
eventually by the end you got the big ass mayhem tattoo and everything else. I like I said, I just thought he was very believable, and I also really liked I also really enjoyed, like I said, the guy who played Ozzy. He was actually he's a groundling, you know, the comedy, the SNL dump comedy troupe that they did out of, or Second City, maybe. It was either Groundlings or Second City, one of those comedy troupes, the improv people. So I thought he was no name. He's never been in a movie before, which was very interesting. I think he's been on shows, but he's never been in a movie. So I thought that was a really good Ozzy. You know, the fourth wall was interesting. It was all right. I'm gonna rate it a solid 7.5 out of 10 for me.
Oh yeah,
enjoyable. I like them.
not as good as Paw Patrol.
It's on a sliding scale, Dylan. Relax.
I would click the thumbs up on Netflix.
Hey, if they still had it, I would.
They do.
Or no, it
Like
used to be the star system. They have the thumbs up now.
I would click the thumbs up.
I would give them the 4 stars out of 5, Dylan, on Netflix if they still had the star system. That's how much I enjoyed it. I did genuinely enjoy the movie. So, oh baby, starting to get hungry, dude. It's only fucking 4:20. Blaze
Got
it. Got him. So, bum. I just wanted to run by you.
Yo, so I got Hulu
it.
again, right?
Okay.
Because I wanted to watch that Pen 15 show because I heard it was pretty good.
Yeah, Becky and I watched some of it.
I watched the first episode, but then I saw Community was on Hulu, and so I'm like, through the full first season of Community.
Oh,
at this point, I'm
exquisite.
No, it's like one of my favorite. I'm watching it again.
What is this, your second time?
Yeah. Well, I never finished it.
I didn't really either because it got real bad.
What happens a lot of times with TV shows is I'll catch up to it being live and then just stop watching it.
Because you can't keep binging it because you're not going to wait for it to come out. Yeah.
I kind of forget about it.
Yep.
Also, I don't watch anything anyways, like I said.
Yeah.
So it was just like, I think I got up to season 5. So I got like I just missed one season, I think.
Yeah.
Season 6. So I pretty much watched it all, but yeah, I started it again. I'm like, God, this is one of my favorite shows. It's
so good. It's just a piece of television that nobody's ever going to be able to really rival in terms of that format. Like, it was so meta and so self-referential and like so well written.
I still laugh out loud.
Oh yeah, laugh hysterically
actually laugh at it.
Yeah,
as opposed to most stuff. One of my
you just give it a nice chortle.
One of my favorite bits, I think it was the first season, was they say Beetlejuice 3 times throughout the season, and then on the third time, the guy walks by just as Beetlejuice. Yeah, that's like one of my favorite bits.
Yeah, there's so much good shit in there like that. Just too smart for its own good type of thing. That's what Dan Harmon's always been that, where he is literally an asshole and way too smart. Like, and he knows it. He knows he's smarter than you, and he makes television that kind of is dumb and smart at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. Like, it's fucking second nature to that guy. I mean, Rick and Morty's the same thing. He's got such a shitty following for Rick and Morty, like shitty fans, because they're like, Richard and Mortimer is so much more intelligent than you plebeians could possibly understand. Dan Harmon is a genius. It's like, it's a fucking cartoon.
Justin.
And what? Justin calling you?
No, it's that Justin Roiland's just like...
Oh, I thought you were saying Justin's calling me. Justin Roiland's what?
He's just like a clown, basically. He's like, I don't give a shit about any of this stuff. Hold up.
Yeah.
I just had to let Fritz out so we can eat.
So we talked about this will was what I kind of wanted to end on. Music. We listen to it. It happens.
I don't listen to music.
You don't listen to any music?
No, I don't got time for it.
You don't. Well, I know. With in between playing Kingdom Hearts and listening to the entire soundtrack on that,
some good
how
songs in there.
Lord's name are you supposed to listen to any music? It's like the guy who's just like, yeah, I don't listen to any music. I just listen to soundtracks so that I can program. That's what I do. I go to Spotify and I do the programming list of songs.
I like soundtracks.
Only classical music and soundtracks, because it's not distracting.
Listen to the Florence soundtrack; it's really good.
There's a song that just came out by Rob Thomas called "Timeless." That's literally a synthwave song. It's a synthwave Rob Thomas song, and I'm not exaggerating when it sounds like not Comtrues. It sounds like it's not dark wave. What's like the lighter synth wave that's like the fun one? Like Future Cop. Sounds like Future Cop. Like like it's like happy, and it's got like really nice like sunny like pad synths in it. And it's got a really hot bass line. It's like boo doo 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 boo doo doo do 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 do, and it's got like a nice guitar, and it's like real sunny. Do 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 bing bing bing. Awesome. I just listened to it today before we were on here. I was like, fucking Rob Thomas has got music out, and then that shit came on, and I was like, it sounds like like fucking like, and it's the way that it's synthwave is almost kind of like how The Weeknd is synthwave. It's like he stole it, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like somebody heard like the most popular synthwave and was like, yeah, I want to do that.
Well, that's not fair, because The Weeknd was just like, hey, Daft Punk.
Well, right. Daft Punk would have been considered like, it's hard to say, because like synthwave is different than what Daft Punk does, because Daft Punk is rooted in like Giorgio Moroder, which you could consider the earliest synthwave artist, but his shit was in disco. So it's like, synthwave has got the 4 to the floor disco, but it's not fast, it's slow. So it's like one, like it's that, but it's just slowed down. It's kind of like listening to like Don Henley. Don Henley's like slow disco, like listening to some like Down at the Sunset, like Sunset Grill, like that type of shit.
No one listens.
It's just
to Don
got
Henley.
that very specific.
Nobody listens to Henley.
Nobody listens to Henley, and I let go. I just want to tell you, Dylan, that The Boys of Summer has 120 million listens on Spotify. So, you know.
Thank you, Ataris.
Sigrid, Dylan. Sigrid. Listening to her new album, came out last month. I actually hadn't even listened to it. The first time I had heard Sigrid was the song Strangers, which is on that record, which was her first single, but it was very early. And it was actually late in 2017. Which is weird.
Really?
Because Strangers was. Oh yeah,
well, this is her first album.
Was around
so
mid or late 17
threw it
when
on there.
Huh?
So it is her first album, so they probably just threw it on there.
Basically, her first album is just the past 2 years of single releases, plus other songs. I had heard Strangers first, and then I had heard Don't Kill My Vibe. And then I had heard, one that I didn't. What was the one? Don't Kill My Vibe was the first one, kind of, and then, Strangers fucking blew up, and then High Five was the one that I really liked a lot. So like, overall, every fucking single that you put on the record, like, or that was off the record, Sucker Punch, Don't Feel Like Crying, Don't Kill My Vibe, and Strangers, those are all hot. And the fucking synth on Strangers, that bass synth,
okay, so Mine Right Now. There's a one part in Mine Right Now where you expect like a full fucking super saw, and it just doesn't come in till like a bar later, and it's really interesting.
Oh,
it like teases you with it.
And you know what the
first chorus, like she starts singing, and you expect the chords to come up, and they are there. It's just the filter's like still on, and then the filter comes off. It like the second bar.
It just
of it
breaks when she just sings it, and then
Well, no, it doesn't even break. You're just expect. That's what you expect. That's what comes next. That's That's how these type of songs work. Is you got like the dreamy pads throughout the
little acoustic
bridge,
guitar,
and then the chorus comes in, and it's super sound.
Yeah.
But it like skips a bar, and it's just really interesting. I don't know why. I was like,
That song is one of the hottest ones on the record that I hadn't heard. Like, it's other than the singles, that song's fucking awesome because it's a synthwaves. Like, I love that. Just like, I don't know the pacing of it. Like, it's like a Michael Jackson type of thing. Dun 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 dun. It's got that like waggle to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like The Way You Make Me Feel. The song The Way You Make Me Feel has got that same, like, it's got that same vibe to it because it's of its time. Like, they're basically referencing the bum 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 the way you make me feel, and it's like the same shit.
Yeah.
But it's that bass line and just that. It's the fucking best. It's so simple. But it's not simple because I can't make it. It's just simple in its sound, and that's what's the most maddening about the whole thing. I figure
you'd be able to make it because you are so simple also.
I'm a simple bitch, and which of course is one of the basic bitch is one of the other songs on the record. Be basic with me or whatever the hell it is. That line, I remember it. What was the line?
Be basic with me.
Yeah, be basic. Yeah, be basic with me. That's what I was telling you about, kind of the power pop of it. There's a lot of songs on the record that are kind of like elevated a little bit because there's like, for as many songs like Strangers or Mine Right Now or Don't Feel Like Crying, there's other ones that are like Don't Kill My Vibe, which are more like Lorde songs. They sound like Lorde, where it's like, it's got that bigness to it, where everything kind of like, it's got that empty space and it rises, and it's got a lot of open air kind of. And yeah, so there's that. It kind of sounds like Bleachers. You ever listen to Bleachers?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
It's got that vibe going for it.
Layers.
It's got a lot of that production.
It's called layers. Layers, baby.
Dude,
you gotta get
layers.
the layers
going. Layers with reverb.
Yeah.
A lot of reverb. Really good reverb. Like, exquisite. So yeah, that's like, and then like Don't Feel Like Crying has got that Carly Rae Jepsen shit going on. Whereas like kind of like Emotion, like it's got the like the orchestra stabs. Bum 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 bum. Same thing. She's taken all those good elements from all that shit. 80s, 90s,
and now
the Lordy power pop, and now. Sigrid is like my popular radio station that I have up here in the North Country. The 80s, 90s, and now. 101.7, The Drive. Or The Jockey, or whatever the fuck it is. Of course, it's The Jockey because it's up in Horsetown. So, Dylan, speaking of Horsetown,
that
I could
Billie
eat a fucking
Eilish
horse.
album?
Yes, that was the last thing.
That was the last one, yeah. The production on that, So weird, so odd.
Have you seen some of the Billie Eilish memes? Like
No.
girls who like Billie Eilish. I don't know if I can find it. I hope I can, because it's really really exquisite how they've kind of nailed that into a corner. Because it really does pretty effectively describe how there are it's kind of hard for me to explain, but it sort of encompasses the idea that an artist like Billie Eilish can be as popular as she is today, being as weird as she is, because I think that being weird has moved into the cultural lexicon, if you will. Like being
Am I cool,
a nerd.
Brent?
Like,
am I cool?
huh?
Am I cool?
Dude, we've been waiting for it for an eternity. It's okay to like
Wait.
Grimes and Billie Eilish now, because
But am I too old to be cool? Did I miss it?
That might be what it is.
Oh no.
But here's what's important to note. Like,
so close.
you peaked too early, Dylan, is really what the. Or did you ever? We don't really know.
Is that what it was? That was me peeking.
When was that?
Peeking over the counter.
The fence to all the cool kids over on the other side of it in the concert? Ooh, I wonder what they're doing.
I dropped my ball over there.
At the Billie Eilish concert.
Can someone
where all the girls are wearing their fucking like you know what it kind of speaks to a little bit is like Coachella culture a little bit. Billie Eilish kind of speaks to the girl that's like wants to be weird but also wants to fit in. Kind of strange to think about. Like,
that's me.
You want to be weird, but you also want to fit in.
Fitting into this fit
like
fitness.
We're not going to go back to that. We're just not. We're not going to do fitness again. She is good, and the production is out of control on it. Like, that's what I think is misleading about the whole thing. Is it's this girl that's like kind of like Grimes, where it's like she's like dark but also not like she's just dark enough. Do you get my meaning? Where if she were any darker in content.
Oh, in context, not in color.
If she was any darker in content alone, she wouldn't have been famous. She wouldn't have gotten famous. It has just enough.
I don't know. It's pretty
And
dark.
I think that's Grimes too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
The main songs in the Billie Eilish, like Bury a Friend, like Wish You Were Gay, Lovely, that song with Khaled, like those ones. Like when you listen to the rest of the record and you see like those weird ass other songs that are kind of like when you listen to a 1975 record and it's like, what the fuck is this song? Like I just listened to like some 80s dance pop and then it goes to like weird sound textures and soundscapes and shit. That's cool and artistic, but they know what they're doing.
You make me sick.
There's the four tracks on the record that everybody's gonna love. Yeah, and like the first track on the thing is just a bunch of exclamation points.
Well, it's literally her taking out her Invisalign.
Yeah.
That is the first. That's the first.
I'm taking out my Invisalign. And then like the goodbye thing is just like that Imogen Heap style of thing where it's just like a modulated vocal over a bass line, and that's the song. Like she does a lot of that stuff.
That's the good stuff.
Well, like that's the weird shit where it's like just a weird track with a fucking a ukulele in it with a weird like it's just weird.
The one song, My Strange Addiction's got Office samples in it, like samples from The Office.
Yeah.
Also, that's probably my favorite track on the album. The bass line is hot. Play it real
well,
quick.
because it's kind of sounds like Fancy by
yeah, kind of.
Boom, ba ba boom, 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 I'm so fancy. So not like I'm not saying everything is derivative. That's stupid for me to say that it sounds like that because it doesn't matter. It's everything. Nobody fucking makes the same song. Like nobody can make a different song. It's all the same shit. We just do it a little differently. So
those bass plucks,
baby.
Know,
the bass plucks. That's where it's at. Dylan,
go eat your horse.
I have reached the end of my time. That's it for me. I'm fucking starving. I gotta go get some sort of dinner ready, baby. Or I gotta start thinking about what I want to do. Because I eat early, Dylan. I'm like a fucking on the weekends. I'm like a senior citizen. It's like I'm going for the fucking 5 o'clock special at the goddamn Golden Corral.
Ooh,
I gotta eat this shit early, baby.
Is that good? I don't even know if Golden Corral's good.
Golden Corral is not that good. Like it's kind of like,
ain't it?
It's like Ponderosa, but like you kind of got to be leery of what it is that you're eating in there. Like you basically you're good with like fried
situation? Food.
It's very Stouffery, like most buffets are,
all right.
Which is all right.
Good. Yeah, as long as it's got a good taste. It like tastes cheesy.
You're good at the Golden Corral with going in there and getting all the things that the guys make in front of you.
It doesn't taste like
that's good.
Wet noodles. Like how is it the
Kinda.
color of cheese, but
it
just tastes like water on milky water on my noodles.
I'll put it this way. You don't want to be going up to the Golden Corral and getting like pre-prepared salads and regular salads. You want to be going up there and getting strictly protein and carbs. And preferably, if you're getting the proteins, again, you want it to be from the guy that's making it in front of you. If he's cooking little tiny steaks, get those. I'm telling you, it's only like genuinely amazingly hot food you're gonna get in the place when you go there. So
yeah, but don't you gotta pay extra for those steaks? Isn't that like an add-on?
No.
I just want the
No, they're little.
Ponderosa.
Like a guy, it's like a little tiny one, and the guy's just throwing them on your plate.
Ponderosa.
You had to pay extra.
You gotta pay extra for the steak.
Yeah, you gotta get that steak. You gonna pay extra for it. Mom, can I get the steak? No.
Mom,
only paying for the fucking buffet.
I got $1 to go play the crane game.
No, god damn it. Young Dylan, who has not changed in his entire existence, you can't go play the crane game. Now that we've plucked that prize out of the crane game.
Now my only problem is I never carry cash on me.
Does this crane game take debit cards? No, Dylan, it doesn't. You don't. Even if it does, it doesn't. We're not going to lead you down that path. 1 million square transactions later.
I've done it. Six Flags in Massachusetts had crane games with debit cards on it. Ooh, baby. Mine was on fire.
Yeah. Problems. Your debit card was on fire.
Yeah.
From swiping it so many times.
All right.
Today, we commemorated 2 years of Jack It Off with doing nothing else than what we normally do on Jack It Off, which is wait a month until we record the next one and babble on incessantly about nothing. So I hope you enjoyed it.
That is from 1975.
Exactly. That's a great year. And if you want to enjoy the audio version of this podcast for your possibly 2-hour commute at this point, the links are down in the description. If you want to listen to
it.
Enjoying is such an objective concept, really, that I can't quite point to somebody who might enjoy this. Maybe they'll tolerate it. Maybe that's a better word. If you'd like to tolerate this podcast for a 2-hour stint in your car and you're losing the will to live, you can check out the audio version of this podcast available in the description below. And as always, see you in a month. This has been the Jack It Off podcast. I'm out.